Not Chris. I assume it was because I intend to win this election. So, California faces a lot of tremendous budget challenges, as does the city. And I would spend any extra money that we have in the state, whether in the state or in the city, by focusing first on public safety. And that's why I'm very pleased to have earned the endorsement of the largest police organization in California, because they know of my focus on public safety. I'm also proud to have the endorsement of the firefighters of Los Angeles, because they know of my commitment to supporting their services to us as well. But you know, your benefactor, Wendy Gruhl, left in the middle of her term, and that's the reason we're having to do this as well. So as you said a moment ago, sometimes these things happen when people are seeking public office because they believe they can do a good job for their constituents.
Thank you. Paul, question? Last question.
Well, Chris, you've made as part of your platform ethics reform and the 3 strikes provision that you're going to have for ethics violations, and yet already in this campaign you've accepted an illegal contribution from a lobbyist, Sonnenschein Nash, which is being investigated by the Ethics Committee, and you have over $10,000 in contributions from lobbyists' wives, lobbyist employees, lobbyist companies, which is at best skirting the law that prohibits lobbyists from donating to us.
Thank you very much.
Can you explain that?
There is nothing illegal about what I have done. I am following the ethics rules, and I'm proud of it. And if there's anything that is out there, we will certainly take care of it. But I have worked long and hard to raise at $500 a time per person enough money to run a viable campaign against the assistant majority leader of the state assembly. On the state assembly side, my opponent is able to raise, I've raised over $1.5 million from special interests at $4,000 a pop. And that money is in his assembly account, and frankly there's a lot of money being spent in that assembly account from his 2010 assembly race. And as far as I know, he's running for city council, and he's not running for the re-election of his assembly race. So I would say there's a little going on over on the other side as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next is John Eisen, who will handle the next part of the meeting, which is the question and answers to the candidates.
You'll have 45 seconds.
Is this mic working okay?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for the questions. I received questions in September from some of you that were not asked then, and then we have questions for the day. And we're going to get to some substance here from the audience. When I mention your name, please stand up, if you dare so. Steve Crane and Herb Moore. The question is, we'll start with Mr. KREKORIAN. Do you support the early retirement measure taken by the City Council?
I assume the question means the agreement that the council struck a while back with its public employees to try to encourage early retirement to save money and get out of the budget morass. I think even the City Council no longer supports that decision because it proved to be an obviously misguided attempt to save money. The projections were not based on real numbers. It didn't realize the savings that it was proposed to save. So while an early retirement proposal of some kind that's actuarially based might help in reducing our pension costs and reduce our salary costs, the one that was done by the council clearly did not.
Ms. ESSEL, do you have a response to that question?
Clearly that's not enough. We still have a big deficit that we're facing for this current fiscal year. So much more needs to be done. I think they sort of took the easy way out. There's probably going to be more staff cuts that are needed. There's probably going to be more contributions required from employees to keep their pensions that are currently in their contracts. We're going to really need to look at all the costs that the city has in its budget a line item at a time to make sure that we need to keep all of those services. I expect we're going to have to get back to the basics and focus most on what the constituents need.
Next question, George Weisenfeld. Ms. Essel, what is your position on mixed-use development on Ventura Boulevard?
Mixed use that fits into the specific plan and complies with the details of the specific plan is appropriate. I know that we're doing our best to keep residential off of Ventura Boulevard and keep it commercial, so mixed use in the sense that includes that is probably inappropriate.
Response?
The Lux Colfax project, if we can find a way to stop that project, we should. There is a state law that unfortunately allows the state to preempt our own rules here in the city, and there hopefully will be a way to put that project to rest.
You have a response?
The Lux Colfax project is a disaster that would have a tremendous adverse impact on the entire surrounding area, and we need to dig in our heels on it. As far as mixed use on Ventura Boulevard, the last thing we need on Ventura Boulevard is more residential density. We already have enough problems with traffic, we have enough problem with inadequacy of our infrastructure, we have enough problems with no parking. The last thing we need to do is add more residential units in an already overburdened area of Sherman Oaks. The concept of mixed use makes sense if you have jobs that are truly next to their residences, but that's not the case in Ventura Boulevard, and it's not the case in most of the places that this has been attempted in San Fernando Valley.
Right. Next question is a short answer question from Barry Johnson. Mr. KREKORIAN, prior to moving in CD2 this year to run for office, what year did you last live in CD2?
Well, thank you. Chris and I both moved this year to CD2. I moved with my family and my kids from the adjacent community of Burbank. And before that, I had represented and currently, I represent a third of the people of CD2 in my current position in the Assembly. And in fact, I've represented them extraordinarily well. And they know me, they know my service, they know what I've been able to do to for this council district, and that's why I have such broad support from the people that I currently represent. I'm no stranger to this district. I was born and raised in the Valley. I'm a third-generation Valley resident. I'm proud of my deep roots here, and I'm going to be an advocate for the Valley when I'm a council member here as well.
And the answer to the question, what year did you last live in CD2 before you moved this year?
I have not lived in CD2. I grew up in Reseda, went to Cleveland High School, and my wife went to Grand High School, but I didn't previously live in CD2, as I think the person who asked the question probably knows.
Okay. Ms. Essel, what year did you last live in CD2 before this year?
I lived in CD2 up until 1987 or 8. Then I moved 1 mile from CD2 to the Coinga Pass, and my most recent residence was also 1 mile from the CD2 border. I too grew up in Reseda. I went to Sutter Middle School, Shirley Avenue Elementary, I went to Chatsworth High School, and I went to Cal State Northridge, and I bought my first home and started in the entertainment industry. I moved to Studio City in the Sherman Oaks area, and been a proud resident, and I loved it, and I'd love to be here again.
The next question for Ms. Essel. What is your position on accessory dwelling units in R1 neighborhoods?
Granny flats?
Yes.
New granny flats are a problem. I think we really need to prohibit those and create some strong land use rules in that regard. With respect to existing granny flats, I know that if a granny is really living in a granny